going to talk about something that's a little bit nostalgic. And I think a lot of you folks probably know what we're going to be talking about. So let's get into it. Welcome back to another video here on the Washington Football Maniacs podcast. My name is Greg, and I'm your host here. And this channel is dedicated to news and commentary for the Washington Commanders. If you're down with that, you can support us by subscribing to this channel. When you do, make sure you hit that notification bell so you won't miss any of these video releases. You can also support us by going to our partner site here. We have partnered with Mint Mobile. If you're looking to save a lot of money on your wireless bill, you should check them out. Have you ever thought, why is my wireless bill so expensive? What are you paying all of that money for? Speed, coverage, data, access to 5G, unlimited talk and text? What about mobile hotspots? Well, with my partners at Mint Mobile, they offer all of those features for as low as $15 a month, and it is very easy to get started with Mint Mobile. How does it work? Well, Mint Mobile works with your digital eSIM card that most phones nowadays come with. You can be up and running in less than 15 minutes. And if you don't have a digital eSIM card in your phone, my partners at Mint Mobile will send you a physical SIM for free. That's right, for free. Big Wireless wants you to think that it's too difficult to switch, but Mint Mobile makes it super easy, and their service is outstanding. I have been testing Mint Mobile for the last couple of months, and I have not seen any drops in calls, and performance and speed has been outstanding. I can watch YouTube in 4K, movies in 4K. I can even play online video games without any buffering whatsoever. Why pay all of that money for access to premium services when you can get all of those services with Mint Mobile for a fraction of the cost? Switch to Mint Mobile today. Go to trymintmobile.com/maniacs and get started on your savings. The link will be in the description of this video. Let's get to it. Speaking of getting to it, what was that? What was I saying? Oh, that's right. So for you Washington Commanders fans, or, as we used to call them, Redskins fans, if you're into nostalgia and you're into the days back when it was HTTR, then this video is for you. And the question I want to ask today is basically, why can't the Commanders wear the Redskins throwback uniforms? Now, you don't have to call them Redskins, okay? You could still say these are what the Commanders wore back in those days. I don't see anything wrong with wearing any of the imagery. Now, I do realize the whole thing that, the Native American imagery, that we shouldn't be mascots and all this sort of thing. But the thing is that what was lost on the ears of some of these sponsors like FedEx, who really pushed to have the name changed, was the fact that the logo, for instance, who is the chief, he was, I believe, the grandfather or great grandfather of the Native American artist that painted his portrait. So that logo was actually a portrait of that Native American's grandparent, and who was a Native American chief. And that was something that was given to the Redskins back in the 70s because they felt that it honored them more if they could have that as the logo as opposed to the R logo that they were sporting during the days of Lombardi. And so Washington adopted that logo and had kept it until the name was retired in 2020. So the thing is that what you start to get in social media and in the media itself is a lot of misinformation because they're trying to get the point across of, they got an agenda to satisfy, and the agenda that they were trying to satisfy was to hurt Dan Snyder because he was pretty well hated amongst a lot of folks, right? His sponsors, after a while, his minority owners, um, and then of course, things started coming out about certain sexual allegations that he may or may not have been involved in, and alleged, and so um, he really became a hated figure. And because of that, his biggest defiant thing, if some of you remember back a few years ago, he said the name will never change and you can put that in bold letters. Well, that was almost a kiss of death looking back on it now, because that was the biggest area, besides the pocketbook, that was the biggest area where the media, especially the liberal media, was going to try and attack Dan Snyder. It's like he loves the name so much. You take that away from him by taking his money away, which was the sponsorships, then you know that's going to put him, basically in the doghouse. And then we're going to dig up dirt. We're going to keep attacking him until he's gone. The thing was, I feel like Snyder was such an easy target that once he started being so defiant about the name, then that was the kiss of death. Might as well have changed it at that point. Um, and so, of course, the name got changed. But along with it, it was kind of, uh, you know, an innocent thing that got retired as well, which was, of course, the logo. Because some of the groups that came out against the name said that the Native American imagery should not be used at all. I'm not sure that these groups realize that I think they've done more harm than good to the Native American groups, because the way that America is and the way that really human nature is, and I can say this personally because I've been guilty of this too, is the fact that once it's out of sight, it's out of mind, and you don't think about it anymore. And that's exactly what will happen with the Native Americans. Once you start taking away any of their imagery and things like that, um, and I don't think that the team ever purposely used Native American imagery to as in a derogatory manner at all. And you can debate the name, but the imagery itself, I felt was in very good taste. The logo itself was not cartoonish. It was a very proud logo, honestly. And but because that the name changed and they wanted to get away from Native American imagery, they retired the logo as well, much to the chagrin of the family. The family was, I remember the family was very upset about that. And, um, of course, a lot of us fans were too, because we were like, just, change it something a little less offensive, but keep the imagery, because, we don't want to lose the team's identity. A lot of us are fans. Uh, well, a lot of us were fans because we were able to grow up and watch them win Super Bowls, but we were also that identity. We recognize the chief logo, the colors, and all that. And when the logo was taken away, then suddenly, it's like, who is this team? um, and I think it really hit when a lot of people were like, the new name is going to be the Washington Commanders, and the logo is going to be this simple military kind of style W on the helmet. And you're always going to get a few people who's going to feel like everything is fire. The fire emoji. Oh, that's fire. And most people looked at it like that's it. And then they saw the jerseys and they're like, this looks like Arizona Cardinals. This doesn't even look like the team. At least when it was just the Washington football team, the only difference was, the helmets were just burgundy with the numbers on them, but everything else still looked pretty much the same. So you still felt like that was still the team out there. That's still the team I recognize. They're just things look a little different. And now it's like, especially when they wear the black, that what I call the Pittsburgh Steelers knockoff uniform, it really to me feels like they're trying to get away from the history. And you're going to get a lot of young fans who are like, good, go away, boomer. We don't want anything with the old stuff. That should be retired. We want all new stuff. We want our own stuff. And to me, I kind of feel like it's a little bit of carpet bag type of syndrome. There's still enough of us older fans who we were old enough to be able to witness the glory years, but we're still young enough that we're going to be around for at least another, hopefully, 20, 30 years, if we're healthy enough, that there's still plenty of years that we're going to be rooting for this team. So we don't want it to change completely. And I think overall, you can change the name. I have always said that the Native Americans should have been the only ones voting and deciding the fate of the name. And, everything is kind of handled by a majority vote. Majority says it's okay, keep using it. But, since we're past that, I still, getting back to the question of this video, this podcast is why can't the Commanders for throwback games use the old Redskins uniforms? I don't see anything wrong with that because I've already told you, I've given you the little bit of the history with the logo. The logo is not racist. It's not. Anyone who says it is, they don't care to really understand the history. Or either people have told them and they're still ignorant and still going to call it racist because, they're straight party line voters. They're not going to think with their own brains. The logo is not racist. You can debate the name. The logo is not racist. And you don't have to bring back uniforms that say Redskins. You could do the uniforms that said just Washington and have the helmets. There was nothing wrong with that at all. Honestly, I still hold out hope that they're able to somehow maybe have another Native American name. I know that guys like Jason Wright has said that's never going to happen. We're not going to use Native American imagery, but there's always hope. There's ways. I mean, you get monetary sponsorships with tribes, local tribes, and it could work. It could work. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think that it's okay for us to use the Redskins throwback uniforms as, well, throwbacks? Why or why not? Let me know in the comments below. Again, you can support this channel by going to Mint Mobile, trymintmobile.com/maniacs, and see if we can save you some money. That said, I will see you in the next one, folks. You take care.